617. If you didn't know, this is called the show. 617. Have you ever seen the show? 617. Have you ever seen the show? 617.
What up? What up? This is Brian, and you're watching the show 617. The show 617. The show 617. Boston's Hip Hop Podcast.
What up, y'all? It's your boy K Square, doing it big in 2010. You're here with your man Brian from PK, winner of the Mama Leah's Jam. What? We're coming up with the first segment. Who that is? Who that is? Yes, sir. We in the exclusive HQ headquarters right here with your veteran DYC member right here. Yep. We're about to have another jam coming up here, so please come check it out. So I'm gonna start it off. We normally crack it with how'd you get your name? But in this case, it's your mom and Dukes.
I don't got a b-boy name, you know. I was always told not to name yourself, let a name come to you. And I feel like, you know, right now I'm still developing my style, so you know, once I develop it a bit more, I feel like a name will come along.
Now that's some real shit, because that's the same way I grew up with. And if y'all didn't know, you couldn't even tell. We like 10 years apart.
Yeah, I'm 19.
I'm fucking 28. But anyways, that's the point. I grew up on the same. I didn't name myself Chronic K. It was a given to me for various reasons, and it just, you know, evolved to the days, and that's how it comes, you know. And it's hard to find these days someone who actually know the real, you know, issues of the unspoken law of b-boying, and that's one of them. You don't name yourself. Someone will name you like a vet. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you keep this generation gap going on and together. So why don't you tell us about yourself? Why don't you tell us where you're from, how you got started, what year it was?
Well, I'm Brian. I'm a teenager from Lynn, Massachusetts. I go to school full time. I'm a full-time college student at Suffolk University. You know, during the school year, I live in Boston. Boyfriend, I'm a b-boy. I started around middle school. I would say around 2002, 2003. But then, you know, when I started, it was kind of slow. It was more like me and my two older brothers, Eddie and Tony. They started off first, and I was like, you know, they would clear out the living room and start practicing. And I would be like, you know, that's kind of ill. Like, I've always known about breaking, but I never really tried it before. And then once they started trying, I was like, you know what, let me try this too. And that's basically how it got started. And then from there, it was like when Eddie started high school, me and Tony were still in middle school, but that's when he met all the other guys in part1, which is my first crew.
Okay, that's right.
Now, it was basically, he recognized some of the people in part1 already, because a lot of the members, it wasn't just a bunch of random dudes from Lynn that got together. It was like, we all already had connections before we even started dancing. So he recognized Juki, which was one of my neighbors when I was growing up. And at that point, you know, he might have just moved out like 4 or 5 years beforehand. So he went to go say what up, like, oh hey, what you doing, man? It's been a while. You know, Juki, he didn't know, was also a part of part1. He was breaking too. And then, you know, he kind of introduced him to everybody. And then Eddie was like, oh, you break? Oh, no way, me too. I got 2 little brothers. I'll bring them through the practice sometime. And then from there, it was just a bunch of connections. Like, Eddie had a boy named Put that they went way back from middle school. He didn't know he was dancing too. Juki had boys, Tona and Billy, and they were dancing. And, you know, Bun and Jan came through, and Jan lived next door to Oreo, and he came in. Oreo knew Jun from high school, and he came down. That's how the crew started, you know? It wasn't just like, hey, I break, you wanna
Get down
too?
Yeah, it was
like, it was just a whole connection, and that's why when I say part1's a family, we really mean it's a family, because it's not just a bunch of random dudes put together. We really came together off of like past connections before breaking.
Alright. Now, why don't you tell me how'd you got into dancing, you know?
Honestly, in Lynn, breaking was just big because of LOI, Laws of Illusions. Now, you know,
because they live in the area.
Yeah, you know, they're from Lynn. They were wrecking shit already. So you know, a lot of kids were trying to break and get into it. And in middle school, I used to see kids do it randomly, like in the hallway, in the cafeteria sometimes. And I was like, all right, word. And then Tony and Eddie started, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to hop on this too. Like, this is pretty cool. But that was more on like a breakdance like tip. But then, you know, once I started doing it a bit more, you know, I was doing like turtles, your basic windmill, and like a 6-step. And that was part of my arsenal for like maybe 2 years. But that was all self-taught though. Closing up. And then after that, when I started practicing with part1, that was probably around 2003, 2004. You know, a guy named Red came through, and he at the time was down with Problemz Kru. And he was the one that really showed us the real b-boy tip, like, you know, like, oh, nah, it's not all about that, there's more to it, there's a culture, there's a lifestyle. He taught us the importance of, like, all the different aspects of breaking, not just footwork and power moves. There's a lot more, how you go into your moves, how you get out of it. And also in middle school, there was one teacher there named Mr. Feldman, but he was a DJ too. He went by the name DJ True One. And he used to let us after school go into his classroom. We would clear out the tables and practice in there. And it was mainly Red and DJ True One that really showed us like what hip hop culture was about. Because before we were just like, oh, this is just dancing, it's just fun, whatever. But they really showed us like, oh, there's a whole culture behind this. People live their lives by this code, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
We're gonna wrap this up. You know what I'm saying? But just before we wrap this first segment, why don't you tell us some of your inspirations, local and national?
A lot of my inspirations are local actually, because you know, coming from Lynn, LOI was a big hit. So you know, Omen Step 2, Excel and Pop School. Omen Step 2, Excel and Pop School, they were like big inspirations because they were like locals around. I would see, you know, I might go to the high school talent show and I would see Omen. And then, you know, I might go to like another talent show at North Shore Community College, and Omen Excel and Step 2 would be there doing shit, you know. Go to the Boys and Girls Club, Pop School would be there. Like, they were just all over the place. And then also, I remember when I first started, one of the big things that just happened was Lords of the Floor 2, which El Nino won. And at that time, I was like, yo, this dude's my age. And he's already winning big jams like that. And I was like, yo, that was big for me. So, and also like with Red, he was down with ground effects. So when we used to practice, he used to always tell us stories about him. And you know, we would never see that. He'd be like, yo, there's just one dude and he would do the nastiest hollow back. So another dude would do mad elbow flares, and we'd be like, what? Like, nah, I don't believe you. And then we went to our first jam and we seen all of them. We were like, oh shit.
All right. We shutting down. We coming back. Yes.
What's up, people? It's DJ Vex here, the show 617. We're here with your man Brian, Problemz Kru, the winner of the 2009 Mama Leah's B-Boy Jam. We're on to our second segment right now. It's called What It Is.
What it is?
Alright. So Brian, what's your top 5 songs you got right now? Bumping in or anywhere that you back? Just up here.
I think the first one, probably Marvin Gaye, T Plays It Cool. You know, that one you could just chill to that, you could practice to it, you could go to sleep to it. That's like anything song.
Fuck to it too.
You can do a lot to it. Second one, I'd probably say Love Jones by Jay Dilla. Off of The Shining.
Damn, this dude is dropping some mean tracks.
I don't know. I wouldn't really just put out breaks. I just put out shit I want to listen to like anytime.